Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Christopher Matos-Rogers. I'm a realtor with Palmer House Properties here in Atlanta. I run the Matos-Rogers Group, which is Georgia's only sustainability and high performance home focused team in the state. And I am replying to my friend Matt Hoots with Sawhorse Inc. He's a green builder here in the Atlanta area, and he's currently running a competition of scary house stories, haunted house stories, right in time for Halloween. And he wants to use them as examples to share how we can, a lot of these are actually due to building science, and we can solve them and find solutions. So I want to share one that a lot of people don't think about. And so what is like a ghost, right? It's invisible, it's dangerous, it happens in old homes as well as new homes, and you have to have special equipment to know that it's there. It's radon. And a lot of you guys probably have heard about radon. You may have tested it when you purchased your home. Hopefully you did. Atlanta is EPA Zone 1, which means we are a high risk for radon in a lot of properties. And there are a multitude of factors that go into determining whether your house will have it or not. So many people do actually test for radon at the time that they're going through a real estate contract, but still too many do not. So first and foremost, take that test. The other issue is that not people usually do that 48-hour test. You get a 48-hour sampling window to know if your house currently has radon at that time, and then people usually move on. If they had no issue, they never think about it again. If they did have an issue, they usually have a mitigation system installed, and again, then never think about it again. But when you use constant monitoring, then you can tell when your system goes down or if you even have an issue. For example, let's look at it on my house. My house was built in the 60s. It was a mid-century ranch on a full basement. These houses can be prone to radon, both by location, where we are in North DeKalb, but also with the way foundations were done back in the day and having that basement or crawl space. When we bought our house, it actually had an existing radon mitigation system, but the previous owner had actually capped it off and removed it because when he upgraded the HVAC in this house to a zone train system, the HVAC professional told him that he no longer needed to have a radon mitigation system, that the train system would handle that, which makes no sense at all. So you may not be surprised to find out that when we tested for radon during our purchase, it actually tested at an average of 20. Right, 20. And if you've tested for radon, you know that an average over 48 hours of 4 is when it's considered actionable. So during our process of going through the home and purchasing, the owner obviously had the system that was already in the house put back online, and that did help. We had it retested, and it brought the level down to 13, so still very, very high. So actually during the process of us buying, they knew this was an issue and that they were going to have an issue with any buyer. They actually installed a second system, and we continued that way for the first 5 years of living here. And last year we started doing real-time monitoring with AirThings monitors, and we found that we were actually still a little high, averaging just over 4. So we actually had a mitigation company come back out, somebody different than who the real estate agent had used when we purchased, and the systems that we had were just not functioning properly and were not installed the correct way, which could happen to you when you buy a house. So they installed a system on the other end of our basement. We decommissioned that second system that they had added, and our radon levels leveled off, except for a couple times. For example, one thing people don't think about, and again, this is why it's important to understand radon on an ongoing basis, whether it's season change and other things. We are getting increasing number of storms and days of rain that are huge, right? So October 24th, 2020, we were out of town in Asheville for the weekend, and Atlanta got hit by a huge storm that had, several inches of rain over the course of a day. When we got back in town that Sunday night, the radon in our house was 28 again, right? And that was because so much rain had hit the ground that it had pushed all the air out of the ground, and radon was highly elevated. We opened the windows. It was super humid out, obviously, so that didn't last very long. We ended up closing them when we went to bed, but it took a couple days for it to dissipate. Now, since that happened, we have added an ERV or energy recovery ventilator to our house to help control. But I want to know from you guys, are you monitoring your radon on an ongoing basis, whether it be annual or real time with something like an AirThings? Have you thought about it? And what techniques have you used to control radon inside your home? Let's have a discussion and go from there.